as the African National Congress marks its 114th anniversary. As you might have heard also there with our reporters, questions about its historical legacy, current challenges and future direction remain at the forefront of the South Africa's political discourse. The party, which has been at the helm of government since 1994, faces growing scrutiny over service delivery, over coalition governance and internal divisions. Its January 8th statement is set to be delivered at the Moruleng Stadium outside Rustenburg in the northwest. For more on this now, let's take a deeper dive on the ANC's journey and its relevance today and what lies ahead. We speak to Professor Kwandiwe Kondlo from the Wits School of Governance. Prof, great to have you on the program. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
So it's really interesting to listen to those different voices on the ground there with our reporters, right? And I'm going to backtrack a bit to a conversation we had with the ANC's national chair. It was Gwede Mantashe, who was with us on this program last week. With Natasha, you heard there someone talk about jobs, saying that there are no jobs, right? The national chair was with us last week and said that people should be out there actively looking for jobs, which has since prompted people to ask, jobs from where? So let's start and get a sense of where you are insofar as the party's connection with the realities on the ground are.
Well, I think that one let me start by saying I think the utterances of Mr. Mantashe really will need him to explain a bit more. I do believe that he is sensitive to the fact that many young people are actually looking for jobs, and the job market is seriously constrained in South Africa. So on that one, I think he's going to be able to deal with it. The ANC it's embedded in the communities and lives of our people. Yes, I don't doubt their connections with South African communities. I don't doubt that. But the question we could perhaps ask and try to think about it seriously is the extent to which this connection with communities inform the actual strategic implementation of ANC programs. To what extent is the ANC doing things with people rather than for people? That is the nub of the issue. That is why you find that in the ANC at some point, there's been a lot of debate and discussion of the notion of public participation. How do we get people to participate in all that government is doing? But unfortunately, the approach of the ANC and even government to public participation tends to be too state-centric. Going back to that paradigm, which I say we should avoid, where a government does things for people rather than working with people.
And I think what you are saying to me now points to somewhat of a disconnect in a way. And just, you say there has, of course, also been a debate and conversations around having to have a government that does things with its people and not for its people. But some of those debates and some of those conversations that you talk about now, how genuine are they and how honest are they insofar as reflecting where the party is and where the party is going?
There's a lot of talking that you find in South Africa. We talk a lot about our politics. And our leaders also talk a lot. Talking is good. But the nub of the issue is in getting things done. You see? We use all these concepts, public participation, people involvement, but at the end of the day, you see, you'll find that in many instances, we are still where we were before, you see. Very little improvement is happening. What is the reason? What is the reason? And I think part of the reason, you see, lies in the fact that we need more sincerity at the level of leadership, especially our political leadership and even our leaders in business. We need more sincerity. Sincerity is at a higher level than honesty. When we talk sincerity, we talk about people who walk the talk. You see? People who talk about corruption, talk against corruption.
Are they walking the talk?
That's what I'm getting to. They talk against corruption, you see, and they don't do it. Then we say those people are walking the talk. But you have others who talk against corruption, and things are happening in their bank accounts as they talk, you see. Yeah? So we really need that sincerity at the level of leadership, and that sincerity will actually inspire a lot of our communities. That's where now you find out of sincerity, we get to a point where we actually work together as a whole. State-centrism is good, but it can be very problematic. Because democracies actually work when people do things for themselves. And the ANC has not led us to that point, where people do things for themselves. Where people talk against the government and don't end there, but go to starting something on their own, for themselves. That is what we need in South Africa.
Yeah, and much talk has also been placed around what many have called a progress report of sorts of the African National Congress, especially when we look at where the party is at this particular point in time. Just when you look at some of the successes, but also looking at some of their shortcomings and looking at how they have failed to also get an outright majority with those elections. Just what would your fair assessment be of how far they've come as an organization?
The ANC as an organization has come far if you look at the track record of the organization from the time when it was an organization in exile, a liberation movement in exile. Move forward from there to a point where the ANC negotiated a very fragile transition. That was a very difficult period. The period where Madiba had to lead transitional negotiations. The ANC also led the country in setting up the first government, which ran South Africa, transitional government, which was a government of national unity. Those were difficult days, but the ANC managed to lead the country through that phase. Then we had actually the phase of Mbeki's leadership from 2008, from 1999.
Yeah.
When Mbeki actually led the country as the president. The ANC was doing well, yes, given the point where it started, yes. But things started really to get a bit more challenging and more difficult during that transition from Mbeki to Mr. Jacob Zuma.